Hey folks, Serdar here. In this episode of Dev with Serdar, I'm going to talk about what's involved into getting into one of the hottest and at the same time most challenging fields that you can get into today as a software developer. No, I'm not talking about cybersecurity or cryptocurrency. I'm talking about video game development. Video games are big business. According to the Entertainment Software Association, something like 65% of everyone in the United States plays video games. It was a $56 billion industry in 2022. That's 7.5 times what people spent on movie tickets that year. Small wonder developers look at all of this and they think, wouldn't it be fun to get in on that? And it absolutely is. But like any other software development field, you need to know what's involved and what kind of skills to build. So here's a rundown of what you need to know before you try to enter game development as a career. The first thing you're going to need is a reasonable level of literacy with modern software development. And by this, I mean you should have some experience writing your own software and not just working on abstract lead code problems. You want to make at least one or two things of your own that show you know how to work with modern software development tools and techniques, things like Git or Visual Studio Code. If you're already learning about programming now, keep going. If not, get started somewhere and get your hands as dirty as you can. And when you want to develop, more than anything else, is a sense of how to learn this stuff. Because programming isn't just about learning whatever the cutting-edge languages are, but knowing how to do things like parse documentation or break problems into components, how to ask for help from subject matter experts, and, this really needs to be singled out here, getting whatever experience you can working with others to develop software. Games are almost never written by a single person, but by teams. So those skills, as opposed to any one language or tool, they pay the biggest dividends, especially in a field like game development. That said, another thing that you want to do is get some exposure to the tooling that is used specifically for game development. Now, in the broadest sense, this means the languages and runtimes and frameworks that are used commonly in gaming, things like Unity, Unreal Engine, and Godot. Or you can get your feet wet with simpler things like Pygame, RenPy, or even Twine. It helps to sit down with these things and just mess with them, just get to know them. You don't have to produce a playable game with them right off the bat. You just have to get familiar. Now, I mentioned languages earlier, and which programming languages to learn for game development is a common question. Some languages do get wider use of game development than others. You tend to see a lot more C# and C++, for instance, than you do Python or Java. But that has more to do with how you're driving the tooling that is being used for the game that you're writing, and less because any one language, or learning any one language, is going to be the royal road to game creation. Another thing that's worth cultivating is a sense of proportion about your intentions. Too many people get into game development because they have plans to make their dream game. They see high-end projects like The Finals, or even modest indie hits like Undertale or Stardew Valley, and they say to themselves, I want to do that, or I could do that. And they often have no idea just how complex even relatively simple games are. And once they get confronted with that reality, they break down. So you want to start small and you want to work your way up. If you've never written even a simple game like Pong or Snake or Tetris or 2048, be prepared to be surprised at how even a simple game can prove complicated. And finally, get to know what your real goals are. Do you want to work in the industry itself, which is quite a pressure cooker and quite competitive and often has long and grueling hours? Or do you just want to make games? If all you want to do is make games, go for it. You could use platforms like itch.io to release the games that you have to an audience at no upfront cost. And at that stage, don't worry too much about stuff like copy protection or even how to monetize what you're doing. Just get things out there for people to try out and also to find out for yourself what the experience is like. Now, in future videos, I'm going to explore game development in much greater detail, not just general pointers, but actual code examples that you can try out and run on your own to get an idea of what's in store for you there. So that's it for this episode. If you liked it, leave a comment below. And don't forget to follow Dev with Serdar and InfoWorld on Facebook, YouTube, and Infoworld.com.